Today's video is sponsored by Policy Genius. So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. We had a bunch of rain last night, but that's okay. We actually needed it. Things are pretty wet and sloppy this morning. So right now I'm headed out to pick up a few supplies, and then we'll head back to the house. So I like to use ethanol-free gas in all my small engine stuff, and I just stopped at a local gas station where I normally buy my ethanol-free gas, and I want to show you something. So check this out, non-ethanol, $6.49 a gallon. Actually, it's $6.49.9, so basically it's $6.50 a gallon. Ridiculously expensive. However, I do like using ethanol-free gas. Now check this out. The other day, just 2 days ago, I was down in West Virginia at the new property, and there is a gas station right outside of Morgantown, West Virginia, right off of Interstate 79, and I found ethanol-free for $4.52 a gallon, almost $2 less per gallon. Now, the ethanol-free at my local station, it is 91 octane. What I found in West Virginia was 90 octane, but for $2 less per gallon, I'll take it. So when I was down there, I had these cans in the back of the truck. I filled them up with the ethanol-free from West Virginia, saving me $29.55 over Pennsylvania prices. So there's a lot of things I don't really like about having ethanol in my gasoline. Now, if you're not familiar with ethanol, it's basically ethyl alcohol. The same type of alcohol you could find in alcoholic beverages, and they mix it with gasoline. Now, the energy content of ethanol is about 33% less than pure gasoline. Now, because ethanol is alcohol, it can dry out the rubber components in fuel systems. It leads to cracking, brittle fuel lines, floats, seats, and diaphragms. Also, non-ethanol gasoline has a much longer shelf life than gasoline blended with ethanol. Now, in most cases, you know, when you're using ethanol blended gasoline in your car and your truck, I don't think you're going to have much trouble with it because you're going through it pretty quick. But for all my small engine stuff, I really prefer ethanol free. I know in the past, you know, I used to drain all the gas, say, out of the string trimmer in the fall, put fresh gas in it in the spring. Using ethanol free gasoline, I can just leave it filled up. It'll fire up in the first pull, first day I need to use it in the springtime. All right, so I topped off the Sawmill and the log splitter with the ethanol free gas. Now this can is empty. What we're going to do, we're going to take this over to Sheets and fill it up with gasoline blended with ethanol. Then when we come back, we're going to test it and the gasoline that I bought in West Virginia to make sure that it is ethanol free. May contain up to 10% ethanol. So earlier I mentioned that today's video was sponsored by Policy Genius, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. If you have anyone at all relying on your income, you need life insurance. That's all there is to it. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance you need at the right price. So I think most of you that watch our channel on a regular basis are a lot like Melissa and I. You know, you like to be prepared. You know, you have your firewood ready for this winter, maybe even the next winter. You like to plan ahead, like to have everything in order. Well, life insurance is definitely one of those things that should be on that list. Now, for me personally, I know having a good life insurance policy gives me some sense of relief and comfort, knowing that everyone will be okay here financially if something were to happen to me. Typically, life insurance gets more expensive the older you get, which kind of makes sense. So there's really no better time than right now to get the right policy for you and your family. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop for finding and buying the insurance you need. Getting started is simple. Just click the link in the description or head to policygenius.com/outdoorswiththemorgans and answer a few questions about yourself. The technology they have makes it very easy to save. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find the lowest price and coverage you need. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/outdoors with the Morgans to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. All right, just got back to the house. We're ready for our little science experiment here. This right here is 90 octane ethanol free that I bought in West Virginia the other day. This is what I just bought over at Sheets. It's 89 octane and it has ethanol in it. What we're going to find out is if this does have ethanol in it, and we're going to make sure that this can does not. All right, I think we're all set up here and ready to go. On my right, I have the 90 octane ethanol free that I bought in West Virginia the other day. On my left, I've got 89 octane that I just bought at Sheets, and this is supposed to have ethanol in it. So what we want to do for this little experiment, we want 1 part water and 3 parts gasoline. Now this is going to be really confusing because this is all in milliliters. But anyway, right here I've got 20 milliliters of water in this beaker right here. Is that what that's called, a beaker? 20 milliliters. Over here I've got 50 milliliters of gas and another 10, which equals 60 milliliters. So we have 1 part water, 3 parts gasoline, right? Right. Now we're going to pour the gas in here. There's 50 milliliters so far. Then another 10 equals 60. Then we're going to shake it up and let it sit for 5 minutes. I'll show you what happens. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. I think you can see pretty well what we have going on here. Here's the gasoline up in here, water and ethanol down here. We started off with water at 20 milliliters, and that line has moved up to 24. So in that 60 milliliters of gasoline, there were 4 milliliters of ethanol, if that makes sense. All right, now we're going to do the same test with the ethanol-free gas that I bought in West Virginia. As you can see, I put 20 milliliters of water in the big one. I've got 50 milliliters of gas here, 10 more here, that equals 60. So we're going to pour these two in here, shake it up, and if this line right here doesn't move up at all, we know it is ethanol-free. Well, the gasoline I bought in West Virginia was sold as advertised. There's definitely no ethanol in this gas. Right here is my 20 milliliter mark right here. That's the 20 milliliters of water. Here is the 60 milliliters of gas. No ethanol at all. That's the good stuff. Now I know here in Pennsylvania that our state gasoline taxes are some of the highest in the country. But what I can't figure out is why our ethanol-free gas here is about $1.50 more a gallon than our regular unleaded. But in West Virginia, ethanol-free is about 20 cents per gallon less than their regular unleaded. Can't understand it. But I know from now on where I'm buying my ethanol-free gas.
Hey, what do you got going on? Science experiment.
Like a little science experiment here. I was...
Looks like an episode of Breaking Bad.
I was testing my ethanol-free gas I bought the other day in West Virginia to make sure it is truly ethanol-free gas, and it is.
Do you really have to test it?
No, you don't have to.
Oh.
I just couldn't figure out why it's so much cheaper than all the other stuff, and it's better.
He was super excited that he found that ethanol-free gas in West Virginia for that price.
I mean, normally I would not get excited at $4.52
I know, right?
gasoline, but for ethanol-free, considering it's $6.50 here in Pennsylvania,
right?
That's a pretty good deal. So what do you want to do for dinner tonight?
Steaks over the fire.
We've been cooking over the fire a lot lately. So bacon, good. Steaks.
Yeah, bacon, steaks, burgers, hot dog. I'll tell you what, it's my new love.
It is.
It tastes so good. It smells so good. You should smell my hair. Mike actually said to me this morning,
It smells great.
your hair smells like the fire.
Nice wood smoke.
Yeah.
Maybe we should move the gas cans though before we start a fire. What do you think?
Yeah, you don't want to use that for a fire starter.
Definitely not. We got another fire starter though. We showed this to you in a video the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you again just because it works so good.
We love it.
Let's move the gas cans.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start off with a couple pieces of oak here on the bottom. We're going to take just a handful of the wax-coated wood chips, set them right on here. Now, I don't have a match, but it'll light with a match. That's all there is to it. We're going to put some more wood on it. Now, what time is it, Melissa?
5:43.
It is 5:43 right now, okay? So I'm going to set this camera up. We'll do a quick little time lapse. And we're not going to touch it again. All I did was put the wax-coated wood chips in there. No kindling, nothing. We're just going to step back. We'll see how long it takes before we have a beautiful fire. All right, so it has been 7 minutes and we have a beautiful fire going right here. This will burn down a little bit. We'll add some more to it, and then we should be ready to start cooking steaks here pretty soon. So it's been a pretty nice afternoon, really. Not as humid as it was yesterday, but it's still...
I don't know, it's still pretty thick. But I am excited to just sit and watch the fire, cook our steaks, sit at the picnic table and eat our dinner. It's going to be very good.
Yep.
You'll have to try it. Thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We'd like to thank Policy Genius for sponsoring this video. We'll see you on the next one.